and welcome to another exciting episode of the Dreaded Archer Podcast. Today, I'm here with two very special people, Mr. James and Amber Brutcher. How you guys doing today?
Good.
Oh yeah,
We're gonna do it at the same time.
did y'all time that out?
No.
Sometimes we try, but that time I was like, "Don't do it! Don't do it!"
And it just, hey,
Yeah.
Remember, ladies first.
it's that connection, that mental connection.
Oh, Lordy.
Hey, you guys have started following me like a couple months ago, and as soon as you guys followed me, I followed you back and really paying attention to a lot of your content. And man, you guys are out in the outdoors a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Every weekend.
Hey, so is that something
Every
that you
single
guys?
weekend.
Hey, I wish I could do it every weekend. You know what I'm saying? But I got so much going on.
Oh,
Is that something you guys grew up doing?
So as long as I could remember, I have always been hunting, fishing with my dad, like literally probably as early as I could walk. Like, no matter if it was, he took a sleeping bag and we slept in the woods while he hunted, we were always in the woods. At least I was. My brother was 50-50, but me, yes. I'm a daddy's girl. I love the outdoors. So I've always been by my dad's side, fishing, hunting, you name it. I was there.
Oh yeah. What about you, James?
So I didn't really get into it until maybe the mid-teens. I grew up a lot on the weekends on horseback instead, more than anything. And then fishing was one thing. And then I started to introduce myself into archery. I come from a family of really non-hunters than anything.
Mm.
And I just kind of introduced myself to it myself.
Hey, that sounds like me. I grew up. The only person I hunted was my dad, but like my mom and dad weren't together. So like whenever I go to his house, especially during like the fall, I see him getting up early, going to hunt. I'm like, I want to go do that, and he would never take me, and it would just irritate the crap out of me. Like, dude, I want to go spend time with you. Like, take me in the woods.
Right.
Never would take me, and I've told the story before, and he told me, "Hey, I'll take you hunting if you can master BB gun." So I'm like, all right. So he got me a BB gun that year for Christmas, and every day I'm out shooting cans, squirrels, anything that moves, I'm shooting it. Mastered that. The next year, nope, didn't take me hunting. So that year for my birthday, he got me a pair of hunting boots. So I'm like, all right, I got the BB gun. Cause at this time I'm thinking I can hunt with a BB gun.
Mm-hmm.
So I got the BB gun, I got the boots, we good. Nope, that year didn't go hunting either. So I said, you know what? I'm playing football now. I don't want to hunt. And I didn't start hunting again until my junior year in college when my buddy Rex took me duck hunting. And then that kind of like got the ball rolling again. And then it fell off. And then moved to South Dakota. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna pick up hunting. And it just kind of just like
I've literally
again.
been on again, off again, on again. Like, I work so much and I have about an hour drive to work. So that there alone, drive there and drive back, that's exhausting as is.
Oh,
so
yeah.
with me, like probably within the last 2 years, I've gotten really hardcore back into it. But I'm sure COVID probably contributed to that because, what is there to really do with COVID? Not very much.
No,
So
hey,
I mean, it's just nice that we can go out in the yard and shoot at any of our targets, whatever, and it's just like kind of like a mental clarity for me.
oh, definitely. Hey, during COVID, my company took us out of the field for like 17 weeks. So for
Oh,
those
wow.
weeks, it was terrible. Like the first week of working from home was like, oh, this is awesome. After that second week, I'm like, I'm done with this. I need to get back in the field.
Yeah.
But like my yard was immaculate. Like I got really started paying attention to my yard, fertilizing and mowing and all that crap. And then I set up a target in my backyard, which I live in city limits, so it's not a lot of people like that hunt around me. So
Right.
I got targets in my backyard, like 3D targets. I'm shooting a bow, and my neighbor's like, "This dude's a madman." Like, what is he doing? Like, is that safe? As a matter of fact, like one of the neighbors, she moved last year, but she's like, "Hey, is that like legal in city limits? Is that a weapon?" I'm like, "It's fine."
That's like if anybody drives by our house and they look over at the right time, they'll see a lot of our targets.
Yeah.
And they're probably like, this dude is an archery nut. Like, what is his problem? He has a football length section of his field and it's just targets.
Yeah.
and it's marked off yardage.
Hey, that's the dream right there. That's the dream that I want.
I mean, he definitely spends more time shooting than I am. I think throughout the week, I'm just so exhausted from going back and forth to work. And man, 2-hour driving on the road is tiring.
Hey, 2 hours.
1 hour there, 1 hour back.
Oh yeah, that's not bad. I drive, I guess doing it every day get tiring.
Yeah.
St. Louis drivers.
Oh, St. Louis. Okay. So you guys are. So you guys down in Missouri?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, like in St. Louis city limits or like on the outside?
We're like 45 minutes to an hour southwest of St. Louis.
Okay. Are you guys Cardinal fans?
I mean, I like the Cardinals, but I'm not going to go watch a game. I will, but I mean.
Her dad is the big Cardinals Blues fan, and you hear him.
I've been to games. I mean, I'm for it. I'll support them. I have a shirt, but I mean, I don't want to go out there in 100-degree weather.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm probably going to get so much shade for that, but I mean, I played my fair share of sports, soccer, softball, whatever. I mean, everybody has their own opinion at this point.
Like, that's my only thing about like baseball games is it's too doggone hot, man. Yeah. It's not fun. The food, the beer is expensive. Like I get a better view at home on my couch in the AC with cheaper beer and free food.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, on top of that is I don't like going downtown. It freaks me out. No, I'm good.
Yeah, downtown St. Louis is not worth that.
I had my first accident downtown, so I have bad vibes 100% when I turned 16. So I'm good.
Yeah, that would definitely keep me away from downtown St. Louis if I had an accident.
Yeah. And it was just me and like literally 3 of my friends. So it was like, great. Now I got to call my parents. Whatever.
I didn't know Missouri had a hockey team until like a couple of years ago. I was like, who are the Blues? Like, who are the Blues? Like, when did the NHL get a Blues team? Like, I knew the Canucks. I knew like Vegas had a team. Like, never knew St. Louis had a team. Wasn't they good like a couple years ago? Like,
yeah. When they won the Stanley Cup and all the Blues people wanted to push the arch into the river.
Oh, they actually won a Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
I see. I didn't even know that.
Yeah. I'd rather watch baseball at this point than
they tried to push the arch into the river.
That was like the big fat. It's obviously something impossible, but they're like, oh, let's go down and do it. Yeah. And I'm just like,
didn't go down at all.
Like you got your Cardinals fans, which they're like on this kind of spectrum, which you can kind of tolerate. And then you got your Blues fans that like go way like, I've seen more crazy things with Blues fans in traffic, ripping their shirts off and jumping up and down on cars than anything. And I'm like, no.
Yeah,
I'm good.
We keep to ourselves. Not saying we don't like to go out and do stuff, but I mean, if you don't have the common interest, I'm just like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I like to drink. He doesn't as much. Fine, dandy, not an issue. But it's like when people are like, let's go to a bar. Let's do this. I'm like, how about we just go sit in our field and have a fire? I'm like,
hey, that's always.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm not the bar type. I'd rather, not saying I'm a homebody, but I'd rather just be in my own atmosphere.
Oh yeah, hey, if you give me a fire and a cooler full of beer, I'm good. I
mean, you can still bust out the bows even after a couple drinks have done it. That's what it is.
Somebody had a nice big old whelp right here.
Right.
That's okay. I still hit the target, so that's all.
How many margaritas later?
Right.
I don't know, 2, 3, 4. I don't know.
10. we still slinging arrows.
Yeah. Yep. Hey, I hit the target, so I mean, I didn't do too shabby if I hit the target, right?
Well, and then you hit the top of the barn.
No, that was Brandon.
Oh, that's right.
That was Brandon. Don't throw me under that bus.
Right. Don't put that on me, Ricky Bobby.
Right. No, you put that on Brandon that has never shot before.
Oh man. Hey, so before we get started, hey, you guys let the people know a little bit about who you guys are and what Brutcher Outdoors is.
It's all you, buddy.
Nope.
No.
Ladies first. Come on now.
You explain Butcher Outdoors.
All right. So I end up switching our Instagram, or my personal Instagram, to a co-ed couples, us, Brutcher Outdoors. So I've seen a lot of people, they're all about themselves on their thing. And I'm like, that's cool, but I want to do something different. I want to rebrand it. And, I kind of grew up watching some of these hunting shows like The Crush with Lee and Tiffany. And I'm like, I really like that. I like that style of a husband and wife working together. And I'm like, why don't I just do that instead? And that's where I kind of got the idea. And I switched everything around where our YouTube is me and her hunting together, outdoors activities, things like that.
And just note, all I do is approve the video.
That's it?
That's all I do. I'll be there for the good laughs of, making a fool out of myself.
I have to have her pre-watch it before I can actually publish it. Because then she's like, really? Why are you going to put that on there with me saying that?
Hey, that's what it's all about. Give people like the raw and uncut footage. I think that's becoming more popular than like all the fancy editing and all that. Like, just give it to them raw.
And see, what's funny is, like, even though he manages like the Brutcher Outdoors, like, I still have my own personal Instagram, so people don't realize that. They just think it's like me or him replying on his, but at the end of the day, it's like I still have a total separate account. That's just me. Because I post other stuff than just archery. Like, I do like girls floats and, life stuff. But people are just like, oh, I didn't know you guys had 2 separate accounts. I'm like, how do you not know?
Right.
I'm like, I'm confused here.
I know when
every time I post something, I will like go ... and then tag her in it. I'm like,
she's a part of it too.
Right. Part of it. I just have a separate account. But it is also so strange because even though, like, we do have a lot of the same followers, but we actually don't at the same time, which is so strangely weird. Because maybe, and I'm sure it's all because we've had this conversation before, I'm a female versus he's a male running the account. I don't know what it is with the female archers that, I'm not even saying men in general. I'm just saying the popularity of it, of people. I just feel like, I don't know. He kind of gets discouraged about it. I'm not even going to lie. Because here's the thing. Like, we will post literally the exact same thing.
At the exact same time.
And then mine is like, I'm like, not like a lot, but I'm like, what is so different from me posting it than you posting it? I still don't understand that. But
I think I got the answer to that. So this is my theory. Theory time with the dreaded archer. So when because I have the same issue, I'm like, why is that? Like, I post some stuff and I'll see like a lady archer post the same thing, and it'll go right through.
Yes.
Right.
Here's the thing. So the ladies support the ladies. Always.
No.
Like, oh yeah.
Whoa.
Wait. Let me. This is my theory. It might be wrong. The ladies support the ladies, and then the guys also support the ladies. But then when it comes to like the guys, if you're not cute enough or built right, then the ladies like, I'm not gonna like that. So you might have a few, and then the guys might be like, you have a sprinkle of guys. So you get kind of like a mix of both, maybe. But the ladies, they get full support.
My fingers going on there.
Yeah, they getting the full support of both. It's a theory.
But in my defense, here's the thing. You would look at my following, 100%, majority of them, yes, 100% are guys. But let me tell you, those female followers, don't get me wrong, I have some pretty good female followers that support me. I support them, great. But then you have those ones that literally are so stuck up on their self, let's post pictures of this, that, and another, and request to follow you and then unfollow you. I don't do all that. No. I'm going to be 100% real. This is probably going to sound salty, but what's the point of posting something in a risky portion? You're not going to be hunting in that?
That's true.
I am not supporting that. That is not, no.
It's almost as if you read my notes, because I got a lot of stuff in my notes.
Literally, this sounds so bad. I'm like, James, look at this. I'm like, why do they post this? I have no idea. Don't get me wrong. Like,
and see, the thing that irks my nerves is you'll get the people like she's talking about that post something, and then you get all the comments, and a lot of them thirsty guys, just saying whatever. But then you get others like, say it's not a girl in a bikini, but a girl with a bow, and someone will ask a question, in a comment, and I will watch this post, and this is where it irks my nerves and grinds my gears so bad. I'll watch that post. That person will not like it, and they will not even respond. And I'm like, what's the point in posting anything if you get a question and you're not even going to answer it? Like, that is just being stuck up.
I'm probably too nice. I will literally, I'm probably like the nicest person ever. I mean, unless you come off as like, don't get me wrong, I get some creepy message requests. I'm not even going to lie.
I can only imagine.
I literally screenshot them and send them to James. That's the funniest part. And he just busts up laughing. I'm like, but anyway, I'm literally probably the nicest person. I will talk to anybody. And that's probably a horrible thing to say. But I mean, get me talking about hunting and I will have literally the longest conversation ever with you. But it's like, we're also that type of couple that we want the interaction. We want to talk to people. Yeah. We want to build those relationships and friendships wherever, you know what I mean? Whether it's real life, social media, anything like that. Like, he's an open book, I'm an open book, and we'll talk to whoever, whenever. And it's just like, we see these people that have, all these followers and, expect you to follow them. And then they just do it for the followers and not the followings. You know what I mean? That's not us.
Oh yeah. I've been on the record and I've said this before. Like, in today's society, likes and follows are like the new currency. Yes. Most people will take the likes and followers over getting paid any day, as long as they get the attention.
Yeah.
And like, that's one of the things that I like when I started the whole Dreaded Archer thing. I'm like, I don't want to do this because of likes or getting followers. I want to connect with people who are, interested in archery, interested in the outdoors.
Interest, yeah.
Yeah. And that's it. Like, I'm gonna be real. When I first got my bow, I was like, I wonder if there's a lot of black people that shoot archery. So I just got on Instagram and like black archers. Yeah, of course, nothing comes up. So I just, nothing comes up. It's like Instagram is not a search engine. So,
so you better be careful what you search for too.
Right. It's not. So I'm like, so I just like started posting stuff, and then it's like Instagram's like, oh, this guy is a black archer. All of a sudden, I started getting a lot of different people. So I started connecting with them, and then just all of a sudden, a whole bunch of archers. Because originally my Instagram page was like me posting like me in college and my football career and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And I never really saw hunters. And then once I started like posting like, me shooting my bow and liking other hunter stuff, all of a sudden everybody started popping up. So I'm like, okay, cool. It's a whole community of hunters out here. Boom, I'm in it. But I never wanted to do it for likes. And I have people like, dude, you only have like a couple hundred followers. Like, I don't care. It's not for that. It's for connecting with people.
How many followers did I start? Like, I never used Instagram. I was like a Facebook junkie, and now it's like a total 360. I'm like all about Instagram. And I think when I first like started actually making like daily posts about whatever, like I think I had like 68 followers, and I was like, now I'm at what, like 1,700, like a year and a half later. I'm like, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I honestly feel like it's sometimes even the hashtags that you use.
Oh yeah, it's a whole thing. I've taken classes on like how to get in the Instagram algorithm and Facebook and all that. Mm-hmm. It's like hashtags, time of day,
he looks that up all the time.
I looked that up once or twice too, and I was like, I tried it and it kind of worked, but then I was like, yeah.
But then he sees me post at whatever time, and he's like, yeah, no, screw you.
Dude, it's hit or miss. Like I've watched videos where people like, hey, like you can really like dig into like your insights and your like page activity and all the different analytics and stuff like that. I just think it's all random. Like I think Instagram and all these
reels take off. Like some days they have 0, and the next day it has like 10,000. I'm like, how is that even possible?
Well, Instagram came out and they said like, yo, we are not prioritizing pictures anymore. It's all about reels and stories. So it's like, all right, well, I've been posting all these pictures and I did the test for like a week straight. All I did was post pictures and I get like 15, 20 likes. I'm like, dang, like I fell off. And then I started posting reels and it's like, oh, 1,500.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, never mind. Like it is all about reels. And like I said, it all depends on like what time you're posting, the hashtags. I heard the thing, a guy say that Instagram, if you put more than 5 hashtags, they're like going to shadow ban you. But I've seen people with like 50 hashtags and like they're 20,000 views and 20,000 likes. I'm like, that's just all cap.
Yeah.
Well, I think the maximum you can reach is 30 hashtags because I literally copy all mine and just put it right back to the next thing.
Right.
And it's like I went to do one over and it's like only 30 allowed. I'm like, okay.
Right.
Like, I just kind of wanted that last one because it sounded kind of funny, but all right, fine.
So how do you guys think that, like, how has social media affected, the hunting industry, the hunting and outdoors industry?
So for that, I feel like it's a 50-50 mix. 50 of it I think is good, but then there's the other 50 where a lot of people are bashing other hunters, and not even that, but like the anti-hunters. There's a good little span of 2 months, early spring, where these random anti-hunters, kill the hunters accounts came up out of the blue on Instagram, and they were attacking everything that was hunting related. One of my people, or one of the guys that I follow, Oak Tree Dreams.
Mm-hmm.
I said that right?
Yes.
Okay. I kind of had a second thought. I'm like, did I not say that right? But
sorry if you did it.
But yeah, they oh man, they like that. They would come in at like 3 a.m. and go down every single picture, and they wouldn't like it, but they would comment just ignorant things like, oh, trash, and it was kind of a weird like algorithm because I almost feel like it was just computer based because a lot of so I took a step back and I paid attention to a lot of how everything was, and it was 50 different words that they would call them, from Neanderthal to trash, and then so on and so forth, and then it's like then it would back to number 1, and so they were getting hit like that for I'd almost say about a month, and so they delete the people, they block them, and then what do you know? Next day, oh, here's some more.
I just don't see why people have the time to do that. I mean, who has the time to do that? I have no idea.
It's trolls. Like some people really get a kick out of being a troll. Like they might not even care about what the topic is, but they just like chaos. They like seeing stuff burn. They like seeing people go back and forth. And I mean, I know people that's got like 5 or 6 burner accounts that all they do is just go and just harass people. It's like you get a kick out of it. Like you wake up every morning to sign into that account.
I don't even have the time or the effort.
No, it's not even worth it. Like I haven't had a lot of people say like foul stuff to me on Instagram, but I get it like when I'm out and about, because of course I wear hunting gear everywhere I go, like it's a shirt or a hat or something. And I was at a bar one time. I had a lady. She goes like, "You actually hunt?" I was like, "Yeah, I hunt." Like, "Oh, you killing Bambi?" Like, look, I was like, "Look, I don't kill Bambis. Bambi was a button buck. I don't shoot button bucks.
Yeah.
But 2, I like putting meat on the table for my family and friends. Like that's what I like to do. It's not and I've heard the term Neanderthal.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes, actually, I am a Neanderthal. And let me tell you why. Because one of my ancestors from way back in the cave days went out and hunted dinosaurs, and they survived, and their DNA was able to survive all the way through now, and now I am the manifestation of them. So yes, I come from a line of people that hunted hunters and gatherers. So yes, I am a Neanderthal somewhat.
I think because it started boiling my blood when I was seeing all these comments, and I had responded to one of them, but I used more of an intelligent kind of comment, an intelligent comment saying something else. And then they came back with Neanderthal, and they told me that. I'm just like, LOL. Okay, smiley face. I'm just like, call me what you want. I mean,
I feel like he feeds into that. I'm just like, why don't you just block them and block any accounts that they make? Like, I wish I could pull up my literally block list. You'd be amazed by how many people I have blocked on Instagram. Like, it sounds horrible to say, but I'm just like, no, I can't. I can't do the creepiness. I can't.
No, yeah,
And I don't want that. Like, that's not the attention I want.
exactly. See, I would never respond to him, but I got a buddy, Cliff, and he's like, he responds to everything. Like anything anybody says, he responds to it, but not like you would think. Like they'll be like, oh, I can't believe you're a hunter, and he'll be like, oh, I'm sorry that you feel that way. Have a good day. And,
yeah.
And then it's like, and that's it. And it's like, I guess when you respond to people like that, it's, you know, they're like, oh, I guess I'm not getting under his skin, or
yeah.
But he sees it as, hey, Instagram wants interaction. So if people are interacting in my comment section, I'm just going to interact. Especially like those bot accounts. It's like, hey, you should promote with us. He'll be like, no, thank you. And then and that's it.
There was a guy I was seeing too that was doing that too. The bot accounts would be like, oh, promote it on such and such, and he's like,
or DM me.
Well, I'm trying to remember exactly how he said, but he's like, nah, I pass on trash or something like that. It was just so funny how he worded it. And I'm just like, man. And then even I think it was like 2 of my pictures ago, I had 2 or 3 of those, post whatever. And then one of my buddies had commented, hey, you should promote it, and then tag their name. And so for a second I had to like stop and I'm like, wait, did his account get hacked? Oh no. I looked at how he worded it and how he kind of put the smiley face. I'm just like, oh yeah, ha ha ha, no.
Right.
Well, okay, you bring up the hacking accounts. All right, let's get to the nitty gritty here.
Oh, hacking account, like the fact that people do
We're
that.
not even really hacking accounts. Whatever. I've never knock on wood.
Basically,
let's not jinx myself on that one because I'd be devastated.
So it's basically. She's had this probably over 10 times now, and a follower will send her a message. Hey, just so you know, someone cloned your account. So they'll take a picture of her.
No, multiple pictures. Not just one.
Multiple. Well, at first it's one.
Yes.
So they'll take a couple pictures of her, put it as their profile, and literally just change something in the name. So they'll put like a dot before the underscore, or put like 2 S's, or just something different. But then go through all her followers and start adding them, and then make it where it's what is it?
Start messaging them.
Start messaging them, and click this link in the bio for nude pics or this or that, or just something off the wall.
That drives me insane. I mean, hey, I give all the props to my followers that always message me about that because, hey, true followers, I support them. You support me, I support you. Thanks for looking out. Y'all know deep down I'm not going to be that type of person.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be different if I would be posting like risky photos or something like that. But I mean, come on, I'm in camo. I don't even understand that.
Hey, there's some desperate people out there that just, they feed off that. They want to make fake accounts. They want to get people to click on these links and try to get your credit card information. Like, if you would put all that effort into like a legitimate job, you'd be A-okay, but
yes,
you want to be a scammer, and that's like, there's nothing good comes to that.
Yeah, that like boggles my mind. I'm like, how do they pick which accounts they like go through and like take the photos through? You know what I mean? I'm just
I think they look at the follower count, like, oh, they got a lot of followers, so I might be able to, get.
I mean, take the ones that have 20K followers, not my measly 1,700 or 1,300. I mean, come on.
Go after bigger fish, way bigger fish.
Right.
I mean, you probably get a lot more feedback from that one.
Oh yeah, people are wild, man.
I'm just like, stop. And other girls are the same way. And then it's like you try to talk to them about it, and they're just like, cool. I'm like, okay, whatever then. Got you.
Right.
I hope. No, I'm not going to say that part. Got you.
So what is it like hunting as a couple?
Oh, we annoy each other so much. So much.
Let's see.
We have 2 different properties for one.
Yeah.
The one stand is a 2-man stand. The other property, he has his own stand. I have my own stand on the same tree though, different sides. So that one we don't know each other as much unless he's constantly fidgeting, trying to get freaking comfortable while I'm trying to nap before sunlight comes up. I'm like, I'm gonna slap you.
So I'll get really bad sciatic nerve pain on my left side, and I'll be sitting in the stand, and then it's like it hits me, and I'm just like, oh. And I'm like trying to move, and trying to pop it, and just like trying to get comfortable.
And here I am, just cozied up in my camo. It's still dark out. I'm not missing anything. Whatever. We've got an hour before daylight, so I'm gonna nap. Whatever. I'm not even gonna lie about it. And then I'm like trying to nap, nice, quiet, cool, and I'm just hearing fidgeting left and right. I'm like,
hey, calm down, man.
We
Chill
ain't
out.
ever gonna be with you moving like that.
But then, so she was talking about the other property, or the one here, with the 2-man stand. And this happened. It happened before a little lull here. I want to say it was like the last weekend in September. We get out there and we're walking to the stand, and I have basically trails cut through fences and things, and everything's cut down real short. And I just have like an LED cap light, kind of guiding our way. And I was also recording. Well, then I look up as we're at the base of the stand, and I just see straight down the hill, eyes looking back. So I quickly turned the light off, and I kind of turned to her. I'm like, we got a doe right there in the field. I'm like, so we got to climb up quiet, very quiet. So we get up quietly, and we get everything settled. Never hear anything. So we're like, okay. So it's been 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and she's like, I need the tissue. Okay. I hand the tissue.
I have really bad allergies.
She gets really bad allergies in the mornings, of all things, when you're like, when it's dark and you're trying to be quiet, you think there might be something there, but you can't tell. So I hand the toilet paper to her. I'm just like, quiet.
No. Ah! Quietly.
And again, it's to that point where it's just slightly breaking light. All I see is a white tail fly up, and I hear psh, psh, psh.
Okay, hold on. He's gonna throw me under the bus. Hold on. Okay, the one Sunday I don't go, let me tell you, he has a coughing and sneezing fit in the woods, and he sees the most deer ever.
Yeah, I was literally about to get down. I just coughed. I just sneezed. I'm just like, oh, I was feeling sick anyways, and I'm like, all right, forget it. I'm getting down. And then I look up, and here comes a doe. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not getting down. Here comes a fawn. I'm definitely not getting down. Here comes another doe. And I'm like, oh,
so
okay.
Don't call me out for blowing my nose when you do the exact same thing, broski.
Difference was daylight versus dark.
Yeah,
right.
No, mine was dark.
I'm terrified of the dark. Like I tried not to walk in the stand to my stand when it's dark, but in order to be successful, you got to get there before the sun gets up. I'm terrified, and any noise, if I like step on a stick, I'm like, oh, the hunt's over. I'm done.
Oh my god!
I don't want to make no sound.
Well, what's the TV show we watched? I always think of this every time we walk to the stand, and it freaks me out.
Oh, The Hunted, that scary movie I had you watch?
I don't freaking know, but don't ever watch it, for one. Because let me tell you, every time we're in the woods, that's just like a mental flashback of this haunting, screeching, screaming noise while they're sitting there in the stand. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, I swear if I hear something like that, I'm out. I'm done.
Yep.
Nope, I'm out. Don't play with me with that.
I know. I've talked to guys, and they're like, I'm like, when you walk into the stand, like, what do you think is going to get you? Now you would think that like the common answer would be like mountain lions or
dude, I would be annoyed if I got sprayed by a skunk.
Yes, a skunk. You would think it would be that. When I talk to other hunters, I'm like, what are you afraid of? But you know what they say? Demons.
Really?
Like, yeah, man, demons in the woods. I'm like,
I don't know. My dad has told me some pretty freaky stories, so I don't know. I wouldn't go the demon route, but very superstitious.
I hear demons and Bigfoot. Like, man, I'm worried about them Bigfoots coming.
My
Like,
dad has told me stories about the Bigfoot too.
All right. So her dad and I, like, all right. So before she started getting more into hunting, when we first got together, her dad and I would go out and we'd hunt together.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was basically me and his thing. We would just hunt from September all the way to January. And we first started doing some public land, and we had a couple interesting stories with that, but then we had some weird encounters where he was literally talking about Bigfoot shows, and next thing we know, here comes what was it? It was a log gets thrown through the dang woods and lands like 5 feet from us, and we're like, where'd that come from? and it wasn't like it fell, it's like it got thrown, and we're like, okay, this ain't right.
Yeah.
I know a couple years ago, me and my buddy Rex, we were down in Arkansas going duck hunting, and he likes to get up at the butt crack of dawn. Like it was like 4:30 in the morning. We're trying to hiking. We don't just like pull up to like a boat ramp and get in there. We gotta like hike through the woods and find these like hidden sloughs, you know.
Yeah.
So we're walking in, and it's probably about 15-20 minutes. We're walking out here like so I'm terrified. I'm like, what is that? I'm like, hey man, you got the gun, you got your gun? He goes, yeah, I got it. All right, cool. So we walk in and we hear it again. But we don't see anything. So we get to our blind, we get set up. As soon as the sun comes up, I bet you this hog had to be every bit of 800 pounds. Just
oh wow.
Like no more than like 20 yards from us, sitting there eating acorns and stuff. And I'm like, and you can hear him, and I'm like, that's what we were hearing. I was like, that thing could have mauled and killed us. And this is like me like getting introduced to hunting. I'm like, nah, man, I'm not down for none. There's too many wild things out here, man.
My luck, I'm just gonna like face plant. Like I'm just gonna trip over my own feet at this point, or like trip down the hill, or no.
Yeah, I'm not. Like I've said it before in this podcast and other podcasts. I'm definitely terrified of the dark. Like
I am not a morning person either. So like, no.
See, that's the thing. I'm a morning person. I don't want to get snatched up by something big.
See,
I mean, here's the thing. I'm gonna drop to the ground, so unless you can pick me up, which probably could be a possibility, but I'm like, nope. I learned that when I was a child. Run from whoopings, drop to the ground. They ain't gonna pull you up. So let me tell you, I'll still do that today. Don't play with me.
I tried that tactic. My father grabbed me by my leg, just pick me up.
Nope. They're like, nah, I'm done. Nope, I'm good.
I wish.
No.
It's like I had never thought much into going out in the mornings when it's dark. I never thought about anything like, getting you or anything like that until I think I started watching the show It Bit Me on Disney Plus or whatever.
Yeah.
And it kind of had like the same scenario, guys walking to his hunting stand and, something comes up and get some. And I'm just like, oh, I never thought of that. And so then last night I go out to check the chicken coop here. I look at the first latch. Okay, cool. I go to walk around the corner and there's a skunk with its butt facing me and my light shines at it and I start to see the tail come up and I'm like, nope.
Nope. Get out of there.
I never thought of that. The skunk being in the woods whenever I'm walking down there.
No.
So do you guys got like a homestead where you like have like chickens and all kind of stuff, or?
I'll answer that question. Just because he's like, man, you just rattle it off because I'm so used to saying it. So we live at his dad's house. He has about 5 acres?
Yeah.
5 acres. So we do have chickens. We have 9 chickens, 12 cats, 3 dogs, and a rabbit. So yeah, I guess it's a homestead. I mean, if it was up to me, I would get some goats and some pigs, and I'm an animal lover. I'll take anything in. Give me a snake, give me an iguana. I don't care what it is. I'm for it.
Oh yeah, you sound like my daughter. Like, let me tell you this. My daughter is 10 years old. She has I think at this point, it might be like 12 foot, like a 12-foot boa constrictor.
Mm-hmm. We've had them. I've had those when we were growing up.
Yeah. She got bearded dragons.
Mm-hmm.
I think she has like 2 iguanas, like 3 or 4 dogs, some birds, a bunch of fish, and I think she just got these like weird gecko looking things. I don't even know what it's like a little pink gecko with like these like weird pink ears and pink mohawk thing. I don't know what it is, but she just has all these weird animals, and she's like, "Yep, these are all my pets, Dad." And I was like, "Oh," because at her mom's house, she got all this stuff, and I'm like,
okay, but you also have to consider we lived literally in the middle of nowhere. We had one neighbor, so we literally would go out into the woods and catch snakes and keep them as pets.
No. See, I lived in the middle of nowhere growing up, but we killed snakes. We didn't bring them home.
There was this one time that I didn't know they were poisonous, and I wanted to pick them up. They were babies. They can bite me. I'm good.
The babies are the worst ones. They don't know how to control the venom. They just bite and let it all go.
They were too small to realize what I was.
Yeah, I'm
like all for it. Like, give me some lizards. Yep. I'm like, trust me. We want to move, get more land, get more animals is my goal. Not his, but
hey, I would not be, against like having like a small little homestead where I got some like chickens, maybe 2 cows, a couple goats, but everything that I have is gonna be for eating, not for pets.
Oh no, see, I just want them as a pet.
Nah, I'm eating
eggs. That counts, right?
I can eat the eggs, but the chicken tastes good too. Fried eggs are good. But
no, you grow a bond with. See, I have bonds with my chickens besides the rooster because I could care less about him. He's evil as HE double hockey sticks. I won't say any bad words on here. But yes, I don't care about him. But I have a good relationship with my chickens. No,
yeah, I got a good relationship with them too. It's a delicacy. I got a good bond. They bond to my stomach.
Let me tell you, I will say, also when we lived in the middle of nowhere, we used to live down the road from a chicken farm. Oh my God, that was horrible. But we also, one of our neighbors also like took me, my dad, was my brother with me? I don't even remember. But I know my mom wasn't. So we went to this farm where they literally chopped the heads off the chickens and literally butchered them right there in front of us. Yeah. Like never again. I can't do that. I got so nauseated. I'm like, Dad, take me home now. I'm an animal lover.
But you hunt deer.
I know, but that's okay.
That's like
I don't have a heart to heart with that deer right now. It's not my pet.
That's like she mentioned the rooster, and we're figuring out a way to get rid of him. At first, she's like, "Well, maybe he'll just die." I'm like, "No, he ain't gonna die." I'm like, "How about we use him as archery practice,
that's
like kind of like a turkey in a sense?
Yeah,
let him run in the yard and take a couple shots at him, see what happens. I mean,
yeah,
what's
you
the worst?
Then you defeather him, you batter him up real good.
Here's the deal: you got to outrun him first, because he's." Oh boy, it was to the point where I took him out of the coop because every time I would go in there, he would flog me and attack me.
Yeah, he got to go.
I'm like, no. I'm like, you can stay in that kennel by yourself in the separate cage. No. I tried bonding with him. No, that bond is not there.
You can bond with them with some flour and hot grease. He'd be good to go.
I'm gonna let my dad engage do that part. I'm like, take them far away where I can't hear it. No, far away. I'm like, Dad, you can eat him. I'm not eating him. No.
So are you guys exclusively whitetail hunters, or do you guys do any kind of like backcountry hunting as far as for like antelope or elk or anything like that?
We have too many animals.
I would love to do an elk hunt, but yeah, as she said, we just have too many animals. So basically any kind of hunting we do, it has to be roughly around local. Here. Yeah, local.
Yeah. Unless somebody wants to come house sit and like I can legit trust you being in my house and taking care of my animals. Because let me tell you, if something happens to my babies while I'm gone, you're dead. Because my animals are my life.
Well, they got that app. I forgot what it's called, but you can like, it's kind of like Uber, but for like people that pet sit, and you just like find somebody close to you and they come and they let
There's
the
just
dog.
nobody reliable here. Like everybody is like, I'm gonna steal your TV. I'm gonna
Yeah,
steal this.
like-
I'm gonna steal that. How about not? Just watch my freaking animal.
Like the town, all right, so the town we live in gets a bad rep as is, but then the
Yes.
county we live in is even a worse rep, and it's just we get what I call zombies walking down our road. Now our driveway is roughly, I would say, 100
Probably.
100 feet, from the road. So our house sits off the road a little bit, One morning I'm getting ready for work and I see some movement by the door and I'm like, what was that? I'm like, my dad, my dad lives with my mom now. So we just basically have taken over his whole house.
Mhm.
And I'm like, is he stopping by to get mail? What's going on here? What's the deal? And I look out, and I don't see anything, and I don't see his car. I'm like, well, that's weird. I know I saw something. And then I hear the dog in the backyard start barking and going crazy. So then I go looking back there. I'm like, all right, what is going on?
Yeah. So we have an Australian Shepherd, we have a Husky German Shepherd, and then we have a Pit Bull mix. So our Australian Shepherd, he likes some people, but most of the time, if you're a male or he doesn't know you,
He like goes berserk.
he's like literally a one-owner dog, and it's my dog.
Right.
They have a hate relationship. They don't like each other, whatever.
But so yeah, I look in the backyard. There's nothing there. So then I go to the front door and I see someone like cutting basically like almost to the end of my yard, like in the ditch. I'm like, what was that about? So I look at my security cameras. I threw out a box, like an old shoe box, right there by the door. I tossed it out. You can't really see that from the road.
I thought you set it on top of your car because you didn't put it in the trash can.
Oh yeah,
Right
okay.
away.
So maybe it was sitting on the hood of my car. But anyways, it's way in the driveway. This woman wearing no shoes comes walking down our driveway to open up the shoebox and see that there's nothing there. She had her water shoes sitting out from the river the week or from the day before, the float trip that we were at. So then she picks those up and looks at them and then sets them back down. And I guess she wanted to look in the backyard, but then the dog started barking. And
Yeah.
She turned around and took off running. And I'm just like,
I mean, I legit leave my shoes on the back patio because that's how often I go outside. Like, if you want my Old Navy flip-flops, I'll give them to you.
She was just shopping.
Yeah. Shopping.
but yeah, so basically anyone around this area, they're not all trustworthy.
Yeah, no.
Also, it sounds like you guys got to take turns. For 1 year, James goes, and the next year, Amber goes.
I don't like
said-
going by myself.
Well, so she doesn't like going by herself, let alone she doesn't like being in the house by herself either.
No,
Oh.
I hear some weird stuff in this house when I'm by myself. No. See, what had happened was before he got his job that he has right now, he was working in pest control and he had to go to Chicago. And I know Chicago's not that far. Don't want to hear about it. Anyway, I've never lived by myself. 100%, never, ever in my life. And he had to go to Chicago for a whole entire week, let alone we just moved down here, I think maybe a month or two before he left to go train. I was terrified. I literally slept with lights on, didn't go to sleep until 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, even with the dogs on my bed. I would constantly look at the security cameras because I have that phobia of, I watch all these freaking scary movies that people look at their security cameras and there's somebody looking up at them. And I get so terrified that I'm going to see that happen.
See, I want that to happen.
No, why?
Yeah,
Care.
I want to look at my camera and see somebody out there, and I'm like, all right, it's on. Let's do it. I've been prepared
the same
my
way.
whole
I'm
life.
So,
I'm like, all right, give me my bow, give me the shotgun. I don't care. Give me something. You come in here. Let's hope and pray my dogs bite you.
Yeah, I'm
50 chance.
I've been preparing for this since I was 5. Let's do it. Let's go.
I'm in the same boat, and it's kind of funny too because so I normally beat her home by 30
Lordy.
minutes every day.
I know where this story is going.
this literally just happened 2 weeks ago, and I kid you not, it was something else. So
Let alone, wasn't that like only a day or two after you had your anaphylactic yellow jacket sting?
Yeah, so it was a day or two after like I
ended up in the ER. Long story short.
Yeah.
Yellow Jackets won. He didn't. Yeah.
Well, he's still alive, so it seems like they lost.
Well, I mean, clearly.
18 stings, but yeah, I was like,
they got you.
They got me.
But the bad thing is, where they got him at, I'm there all the time, and so are my chickens.
Yeah, I don't know. It was like they were just drawn to me. I was like, I never even saw the nest there. I'm just raking leaves, and I just suddenly start feeling it. I'm like, oh no.
I literally rake there literally every other day.
Well, they knew he worked in pest control and you didn't.
Yeah.
Well, that's the funny thing.
They were just trying to get me back. That's what it was.
It's karma. Karma bit him.
So anyways, she normally texts me when she's on her way home, something like that, so we kind of have a conversation going.
I left early.
Yeah, she left early. I think I had stopped at the other property to get the SD card, swap out cards. So, I kind of already knew that my timeline was a little low as is. I'd getting home 15 minutes, 20 minutes later than normal. So I get to the front door, put my key in the deadbolt, go to turn it. Oh, that's weird. I don't feel resistance. Okay, maybe I forgot to lock the deadbolt. Put it in the door handle, and the door handle just turns. And I'm like, did I really forget to lock the door?
Okay, before he finishes the story, my keys were laying on the counter, and I have a backpack that I take back and forth to work with me with my laptop in it. Was sitting literally right next to the garage door, because literally I have to come through the house, unlock the garage door to open the garage door, because our garage door is funky and automatically opens sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's like I had to come through the house, hit the garage door open, and then pull in the garage, shut the garage, bring my stuff in, and then I immediately take care of the animals. Like, the dogs go crazy by the time I'm home. I'm like, okay, let's get these dogs taken care of. Let's get the cats taken care of. Yeah.
So I walk in the door, and I'm not looking at the ground. The lights are all off. Everything, the house is dark. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I just forgot about it. And I get kind of a little ways into the kitchen, and then I see a shadow of somebody down this hallway here move real quick, as if they're going to the front door, as if they're running out the door.
I was still in my blue scrubs.
And my mind didn't recognize who it was. I just thought, oh my God, someone broke in my house. I just caught them. Yes, yes. And I just take off running, and I yell, hey, you mother. And I bite my tongue too when I go to say the word. So then I sound like I have Tourette's or something in it, or just a speech impediment. And so then it just blubbers out. And so I have two thoughts in my mind as I'm running through the house. Wow, I sounded like an idiot just now. I hope they didn't hear that. And number two was, I really didn't take a look at this person.
And
wait. I don't know if they're going to be bigger than me. I don't know if they have a weapon. I'm just running. I'm just going to bare hand.
He didn't grab anything. Anything. He didn't grab nothing on the way 3 rooms over. Nothing. He just runs at them.
Until I get right before the dog's room's door, and I hear, James, it's me. And I'm like, whoa, what just happened?
He blacked out.
Yeah. And I'm like, my heart's going. I'm just like, man, I thought you were someone breaking in the house and trying to run out the front door. I was going to beat the crap out of you.
Right. Hey, that happened to me. I think it was a couple years ago. So I had just bought this house I'm living in now. And in South Dakota, we have what's called a sub pump. So it pumps water out of your house. I don't know if you guys got that or not down there.
No.
Well, it got real cold, and my sub pump line froze up, and it popped off, and the water was just shooting out the house. And I have 2 sub pumps, so when I have one that just automatically lets out, and then if it gets too full, then there's one that hooks up to the main water line that spits water out. So it's constantly spitting water out the house, and so I'm sleeping, and I'm like, what is that? Why do I hear water running? So I get up, I look outside, and my backyard is just flooded. So I'm like, oh crap. So I go upstairs. Well, first I go to the back, and I see it's all running and stuff. So I'm trying to figure out how to fix the issue. So I'm like, all right, the line's frozen. I need to get hot water, put it in the shower, get it done, whatever. So as I go upstairs, when I come out my basement, I come up to the foyer, and it's like my front door. My front door has a big glass, window.
Yeah.
So I come up, and it's dark, and all I see is the silhouette of a person on my front door. So I just yell out, "Who the F are you? I'm gonna blow your effing head off. Who the F are you?" And it's my neighbor. She's the sweetest lady. She goes, "It's me, it's Christine. I just want you to know your house is leaking water." And she's terrified. She's never heard me raise my voice at all ever. And she's like, I'm sorry. And she just jumps off the front porch and runs back home. So the next week I went to the store, and she drinks wine and eats cheese. So I got her a bunch of cheese and some wine, some gift cards. I'm like, hey, I'm sorry for yelling at you. I really wasn't gonna blow your head off.
Oh no. Okay,
And then it was weird because a couple weeks later they got ready to move. I'm like, I wonder if she was moving because I yelled at her.
Well, okay, but it all doesn't help when we've had packages come up missing from our house too. So I sell Color Street and Cincy as well. So I work full time. I sell Color Street. I sell Cincy. I hunt. Whatever. I'm a busy bee. So that's frustrating too. It's you come home and it says, "Oh, the package is supposed to be on the back patio, or the package is supposed to be, left by the garage door, and it's gone. Poof, gone." I'm like, who really has the nerve to walk up to somebody's house?
Porch pirates.
I'm like, but you literally have to walk up our whole entire driveway.
We don't
live right off the street. You got to come up in our driveway pretty decent.
Hey, they're on a mission.
Apparently.
That's I was waiting for our heated hunts package to come, and yeah, he had told me, hey, they sent it out. What was it? He'd said it was on a Wednesday. And I'm like, okay, and I'm like, did you get any tracking or anything, for winning the Facebook thing or whatever for September? And I'm like, hey, did you get any tracking for that? And he's like, no, I'll ask him for it, so it's been a week or so. And
this
I'm like,
little boy, he's like a kid in a candy store. He's like, did my package come? Did my package come?
I'm the same way.
Literally, he's like, hey, can you check your app? Because I have the USPS app where I can see what mail's coming in every couple days. He's like, hey, can you check your app? Do we have any packages coming in? I'm like, no, get the app. Stop.
But, I was just thinking, man, I'm going to be mad if it got delivered, I didn't know, and someone, stole that. I'm like, it's going to suck for them unless they're a hunter and they're going to use it.
Right.
You're going to get a box full of urine, in a sense.
Right.
I mean, I could think of worse things to get, but,
It was the same thing with me. I do the same thing with the app. It tells me when my package is coming.
Yeah.
So I knew what I was mine was coming in, and I was out of town at the time.
Tracking because he won it. It wasn't he bought something off of.
Oh, it was just
It was something that he won, a giveaway that he won, so that he didn't get any tracking. So they didn't send him tracking. I could see the tracking. But it doesn't give me details on what it is. It just says easy something or easy ship or something on how the basic company they ship with.
Right.
With my Color Street and Cincy, it'll legit tell me where it's shipping from. Okay, Idaho I know is Cincy. What is it? New Jersey is Color Street. So I can tell the difference on what is my packages and what is his. But I'm like, even if I click on it, it's not going to give me any details because it's not my order.
Yeah, it's not going to tell you what it is.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I was like, oh, it's I'm looking all right, it says I'm getting a package today in the mail. So, hey, it's coming. Well, it says delivered and handed to individual. I'm like, what individual? I wasn't home. So I get home and of course there's no package. And so I'm like, well, I'll just wait. Well, then yesterday it was they updated the tracking and then it showed up. So I was like, okay, cool. No one got it. But I was like, I'm like you. Anytime I'm getting a package, I'm excited. I'm like, ooh, I can't wait to. Even when I know that if I bought something, I know it's coming. I'm super excited to get.
Well, it doesn't help that we have our main postal lady's number. So we've had a lot of bad issues with our mail lately. And so at this point, I'm like, just give me your number because if I have any issues, I'm just calling you. I don't
calling
care.
you directly.
Correct. I don't play that game. Give me my mail because I got tired okay, don't play with my packages because like when I get packages, I turn around and ship them out of state as well. Like people order through me and then I ship them out of state. Like I ship to Massachusetts, like wherever like they want to order from. And it's like, oh, held at post office per so-and-so. I'm like, per who? Because you didn't ask me. You didn't ask my husband. You didn't ask my father-in-law. Like, no, don't play that game. I'm like, so I'd be like texting her. I'm like, hey, why is this being held? So I go up there to try getting it. Oh, no, it's out for delivery. It's back on the truck. I'm like,
The mail
well,
service.
why was it being held then? Like, oh, they must have just missed it. I'm like, no, that's not how this works.
No, I've actually seen the mail guy pull up to my house, so lazy not to get out, and he hit something on his handheld and drive off, and then I get a message, your package been delivered. I look outside, no package.
Yes.
I'm like, nah, man, I'm not playing this game.
I'm like, no. Well, and it's too, like, she's actually been really sweet too lately. She's like, she'll like randomly text or call me, and it's funny because she only has my number, and she'll be like, hey, I missed one of your packages, but I'm on my way. And she doesn't live far from us either. That's sad. We know where our mail lady lives. But anyway, she's like, hey, I forgot one of your packages. If you want on my way home, even though it's out of my way, I'll bring it back. I'm like, no, as long as you deliver it tomorrow, that's fine. But I appreciate it.
Right.
Or it's like when somebody else is covering her route, I'm like, hey, no package. What's up?
What's good?
Oh, sorry, I'm on vacation. Da-da-da-da-da. Let me know if you don't get it. I'm like, dang it.
Right. So you mentioned heated hunts. So how did you guys get involved with heated hunts?
I got involved with them.
Were you in it first?
Yeah, I was in it first. Yeah. I got involved with them last year or the year before. I can't really remember now. But I got involved with them. I bought the little thing and started messing with it. And then I told her, I'm like, hey, why don't you try it? And then that's kind of like how we started. I would go for this camo thing. So then she would go for it. And then we would go for this.
Well, what's actually funny is he got salty because I got added to the Heated Hunts page before him.
Facebook page?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, but I got added to the Instagram page. But I was like, I do more on Instagram anyways than anything. Like for Facebook, I'm just, I'll get random requests for some of these people that I feel like are the dimming knives or whatever knives, and I'm just like, companies. Like, how do you even find me on Facebook, dude? Like, I have my stuff set to private so much.
I don't even want to hear about that because recently, let me tell you, I don't know if people are just like, ooh, I'm going to look her up and see if she got a Facebook or how they find me on Facebook. But how do people find people on Facebook when they have no mutual friends whatsoever?
Just type your name in. That's it.
I know, but who just thinks of, oh, I'm going to go look her up on Facebook?
People that are lonely and living in their mom's basement.
No, don't tell me that.
Jeffrey Dahmer type.
Don't tell me that because I'm too nice. Okay, so when I'm murdered on the side of the road, thanks for that.
I had no involvement in it.
Oh, Lordy.
But yeah, so I got on with Heated Hunts, about, let's say a year ago or so. And after that, we kind of did our thing with them. And then one day I was on Instagram and I was seeing on their little group chat, I started seeing names getting removed. And I'm like, what's going on here? And so I'd ask the guy and
P.S. I'm not on the group chat on Instagram.
I don't even think you've been on it, have you?
I've never been on it.
Okay.
Rude. No, I'm just kidding. I don't want to be on it because that's insane.
You know,
I don't like it. Ding, 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 ding. No.
I did have to mute like the messages. I'll look at them, but like I had to mute them at sometimes because I was just like, I would start getting notifications, and especially like on the group thing where everybody starts doing whatever. I'm like, oh my God, my phone is going off.
I'll support. I'm 100% supported with Heated Hunts. I'll wear the apparel. I will use the product. If you want me to be in a group message, fine and dandy, but not when I'm at work. I'm too busy for that.
But yeah, so I talked to Ed, the guy with Tuscarora Outdoors, and I'm like, hey man, what's going on here? He's like, oh, well, we're getting rid of the people that are inactive. And I'm like, oh, okay, and I'm like, well, do we need to re-ante up and whatnot? And he's like, yeah. And then he's like, well, I'll tell you what you guys can do is actually go under the same team as a husband and wife team. And I'm like, oh, I like the sound of that. So, I did that. And Then I'm just thinking to myself, husband and wife team. I like the sound of that. Let's start doing that with everything then.
Right. Yeah, because you guys are on it. Like as soon as you guys started following me, I started seeing like heated hunt. I mean, you guys were posting like
He totally posts more than me. I
yeah, I kind of have.
It got me interested. I'm like, what is this heated
I'm
hunt?
like, you know what? I worked my tail off at home. I went through 2 promotions in the first year I was at this job. So I'm like busting my tail at work, and I'm just like, he's like, do you want to go outside and take pictures? I'm like, honestly, I really don't. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I just want to curl up with my cat and watch TV and chill out.
Hey, when we get off the show, I'm gonna tell you a good life hack when it comes to the social media posts and stuff. I'm gonna give you. I'm not gonna give you the game now because I don't want people to start using the tactic. But I share it with y'all.
I'm like, James, just go out there and take pictures for me, and then send them to me, and then I'll post them.
See, like with my job, I have more downtime where I'm just like, oh, okay, I can do this one real quick.
Yeah.
I don't have I can't take pictures where I'm at work, but I'm like, if I, take a good amount of them, I can, all right, I'll post this today or I'll do this for today,
Yeah.
So
it's constantly keep something in the algorithm.
I am totally I am literally getting pulled 50 different ways at my job. I am a lead medical assistant. So I'm like, all the other MAs come to me. Like the nurses, if they need something, like they come to me because I'm the lead. Like the office manager, I'm like, the doctors are like, hey. I'm like, okay, I got it. I'm like, sometimes I'm just like, nope, I can't do that today.
Oh yeah, I totally feel you.
Yeah, I mean, working in medical field's hard enough. So.
Hey, I'm a tobacco rep, so I have like 86 accounts, and
yeah.
Anytime there's any change with pricing or a new product coming out, my phone is like blowing up. And it only happens when I'm on vacation. Like I could not take vacation for 6 months. Nothing will happen. The first time I take a vacation, I get back, well, even while I'm on vacation, phone's ringing. Hey, price change, new product coming out. What's this? That I'm like, I didn't even know. Like
I still get like I am close to some of our one rep in particular with my job, just because before I worked in an OBGYN office, now I'm in neuro. So she also comes to our new office. So like I'm in like group messages with her and like our nurses, and I'm just like, hey guys, I'm off today. Let's not do this group message. And then it's like ding, 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 ding. I'm like, y'all, I'm off today. I'm not replying. I just want to sleep.
So like with your like strict work schedule, like how do you find time to hunt? Like how do you manage that?
So I typically, my hours are pretty, like, let's see, what time do I leave in the morning? I leave the house by like 6:50 in the morning to get at work by like 7:45, 8 o'clock. Typically I'm off try to be off by 4:30. That doesn't always happen. I mean, again, medical field, so it doesn't always happen that way. Literally, if I try to hunt during the week, it's going to be a 50-50 shot that I'm getting home by 5:30.
Yeah.
Like,
see, what you gotta do is you gotta like have your camo stuff in the car. So when you
that's what I do. You know what I do is I literally come home. I don't even eat dinner. I literally drop my stuff, change out of my scrubs, get into my camo, and out the door.
Yeah.
That's how I go.
And that's what I do during the week, if the week's good to hunt. And then other nights, I'm like, yeah, no. If I hit like a dead stop traffic, I'm like, sorry, not hunting tonight. Sorry. Like, traffic can be hit or miss anywhere on my drive. So that's literally what I have to do. I'm like, oh, sometimes, and my office manager is wonderful. Like, she knows I'm a big hunter. She knows my husband's a big hunter. Like, she's all for it. She's like, pro hunting, go. So I'm like, hey, do you care if I get out of here at like 4:15? Like, I need to get in the woods. She's like, yeah, fine, whatever. Make sure nobody else needs anything. I'm like, great, Deanny, I'm out. Bye.
Right.
And hey, I'm for it. Whatever. Not very often do I do that because I am that type of person. I am a workaholic. I don't like leaving early. I don't like arriving late. I'm that everything has to be done and completed before I leave. And so very rarely do I do that. But so basically I literally rush home. Can maybe get home in 45 minutes sometimes, depending on how fast I drive.
Hey, I do the same thing, especially when it comes to hunting season.
Then I'm like,
hey,
and then I get home and he's not even dressed. I'm like, why are you not in your camo? Like, why am I ready before you and you've been home for 45 minutes?
That's because I'm taking care of the chickens. I'm dealing with the dogs and all
Right.
that. I'm not want to get the dog fur all over my camo.
I mean, sometimes I come in and he's just sitting on the couch or sitting at the table looking at the cameras. I'm like,
yeah, that's what I also like to do is like, so I'll come home and I'll check the card and see like if we've had any difference with movement. And I'm like, okay, maybe it'll be worth going out tonight or maybe not. Like the past 2 days would have been awesome because it's been like in the 30s here, but the wind has been stupidly like 20, 25 mile an hour gusts. And it's just like,
it's hard.
I'm like, and I look at my cards and I'm just like, yeah, the deer aren't even coming in until 9, 10 o'clock at night. I'm like, that we would just been sitting there doing nothing the whole time. It's
just twiddling your thumbs. Like I read different articles and some people say, hey, if it's windy, still go out because the deer can't hear you walk in. And
right.
I'm like, I don't know what to believe. And sometimes I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna go out there, and I have a couple spots on public land that I'm not afraid to blow out because there's people there. Huh?
So I have a question about that.
What's that? What's up?
So are you more public hunting or private hunting?
You know what? I'm a mix of both. I prefer private because I got a little more freedom and I can kind of control what's going on out there. But my goal this year is to kill something on public land. I've never put anything down on public land, so I want to figure public land out because when you got private land, every nook and cranny of that property. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The corridors. If you're down in like I hunt down like by a creek, so I know like how the thermals work and how the wind's spinning and all that. Like I know everything about that property, where the deer bed at, where they feed at. I can kind of strategize my hunt. The public land, it's unknown. Because here in South Dakota, like the spot that I go, I got a couple spots around here, and each spot is like it's mass. It's like hundreds and hundreds of acres. I haven't even scratched the surface of any of those properties. So it's like I'm kind of going in blind, and I kind of like that because like who knows what's out there, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I don't know. I'm torn. Like I like public land because of the thrill of excitement, but also I really love private land because I know I can get something on private land.
Yeah, it's controlled. Yeah.
Well, it's like you were talking too about you don't know until you go out. Like you're talking about articles, and I was seeing a lot of articles that talk about early season hunting, in September, early September and stuff. And it says to hunt the evenings and not the mornings, because more deer activity. And I actually have found the opposite this whole season. Like I saw more activity in the mornings than in the evenings. Yeah. And I was like, that was just bizarre to me. I mean, I'm happy with what I've seen, for the most part, but I was just like that, you look at some articles and it says one thing and you look at the other and it says another thing. And it's just like,
it gets you torn. It gets you all torn up.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I also feel like it's the region that you live in as well.
Yes, that's true too.
What is that article based off of? Is that article based off of Missouri? Is that article based off Michigan, Minnesota? Like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Every state has their different atmosphere. You know what I mean? So how do you know like this article is for Minnesota and then we're in Missouri? Like, how are you going to say, you know what I mean? Like, no, there's climate change all over the world. You can't just read an article and say 100% like, oh, it's going to be like that everywhere because it's not.
Oh, definitely. And like, depending on what region you live in, deer have different movement patterns, like, like here in South Dakota, like early September, the weather's going to be like 98 to 100 degrees. It's weird because people think South Dakota is always cold, but we got some pretty harsh, summers. And you would think like, deer won't be moving during the day, but there's been times where I like go out at, 1 o'clock in the afternoon to check a game camera or to put up a tree stand, and I'm just blowing deer out, and deer just like out and about. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna hunt the afternoon. Go to the next afternoon, nothing.
Yeah.
But then you go in the evening and you see deer, or you wait for an evening hunt and you don't see nothing, and you look at your game camera and there's deer moving around at 2 and 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You're like, how do you decipher what to do? And it's one of those things where you just gotta just continue to build knowledge and know know the property you're hunting, and just figure out the deer movement. It's weird. It's so confusing, and especially when you're trying to talk to a person who's new to hunting and you're trying to give them advice. Like, look, you're gonna read 100 different articles and they're gonna give you 100 different answers. You just gotta like
make your own story at this point.
Take bits and pieces and come up with your own thing, and it's all trial and error.
Well, that's whenever it was one of the evenings, she came home and we were getting ready to come out and hunt. We were normally, it's only like an hour and a half we were having.
Hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, depending on how soon I could get home.
Right. So we were walking to the stand at like 5:58. We get to the stand, and again, it's not a cool day. It was late September, so here it was like 85 degrees. Again, we're still going out. We just have our lightweight camo on. We're just like, you don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we didn't see anything. So I pull that card that night. I put it in the computer, and I look at it, and I'm like, what time did we walk in? And she's like, oh, like right 2 minutes before 6. I'm like, them deer literally walked away 3 minutes before we walked down there. And from our door here,
5:55.
From our door here to our stand is no more than a minute walk. And it was just like,
day late and a dollar short.
Anytime too, like I suffer real bad from like allergies and migraines, and this bipolar back and forth weather like really messes my allergies. I'm allergic to everything outside. So like there's days where I have real bad reactions with my eyes, and I'm like, yeah, no, I can't see to shoot anyway. I'm just staying home. Or if I have a really bad migraine, I just can't do it. And the first thing I do when I get up, I'm like, James, did you go check the car? Did we just make the biggest mistake of not going out there and hunting? He's like, no, we're good. Nothing was on the camera. I'm like, great. Thank you.
Hey, you guys should get one of those like cell cams where you ain't even got to go out. You just send it to your phone.
No, he goes out and checks them.
I've thought about those. Like, so I would use them at our other property, but the other issue is the cell phone like coverage, like the actual
really
coverage for it.
Yeah.
So like the coverage there wouldn't be the best. So it'd be kind of pointless for me
Let
there.
alone, we haven't told you the best part about the other property. There are 2 horses over there too.
Oh, I was going to ask you guys about that. So you guys got a couple pictures, and I see like you guys got like feeders out, but you got these like ropes and strings. I'm like, what are they doing? Because my first thought was,
we're catching a Bigfoot.
Not a Bigfoot. So I've seen like people put like they'll put corn down, and then they'll put all these like ropes and strings going from tree to tree. That way, like during like the winter when deer are like getting ready to drop their antlers, they'll get caught up in antlers and like pop them off.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, why are they doing that? But it's so early. Deer aren't dropping their antlers in September. Why they got all these strings around their feet?
You know what? I was so shocked we didn't get this question sooner.
It was on the tip of my tongue, but I want to wait.
So people would personally message me that, or I would get comments.
Yeah.
And it was kind of funny because like I'd get one comment about it. So I'd respond with, oh, well, this is the reason why. Then I would get another comment exactly, the way it was worded. I'm just like, why didn't you just read that one?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll respond to you anyways, So I have learned, I thought I have learned from my future or from my past. I would put, mineral down, anything like that. It would work out all right for a little bit, but then the horses would come down and, I'd get great pictures of deer coming in and it was awesome. I loved it. And then I'd get thousands and thousands of pictures of a horse just sitting there eating it. Nom, 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 nom. And I'm like, great. Now what? So around turkey season, I got this month or year supply of mineral. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to put it over here because here we're going to have probably a better chance of getting like a bigger buck since it's more.
There's more property over there.
Yeah, there's more property. So I'm
there's
like,
more
okay.
Like water sources over there as well because there's a pond.
Yeah. And so then I'm like, okay, I need to find a place to put this, but I also need to figure out a way where these horses won't come in and tear it up. So I found, these 5 little trees that kind of made a nice little square. And I'm like, okay, the deer can come under it and the it will stop the horses from getting into it. So, you know, her dad came down one weekend. We ran some ropes around this tree, and I put this mineral out. Hey, it worked out great. Okay. So I started getting pictures of deer. I'm like, all right, well, this is cool. This is cool. You know, and so I kept doing it. And then I started putting like, I guess, what was it, like the acorn crush or, you know, apple crush, something, you know, just something to switch it up. And then she says, hey, why don't we do the Big and J? I feel like that really brought the deer in last time. And I'm like, okay.
Yes,
But okay, this year though, we also did slightly move our stands. I feel like last year it was easier. The horses really, I feel like the horses didn't mess with it as much last year. For some reason.
Did, but they didn't.
But yeah, we moved our stands, so we moved the location of where we were like putting the minerals and all of that too. So
anyways, the day right before bow season, I go and I check the card, and I'm like, wow, I have 4,000 pictures on this SD card. This is freaking awesome. I'm so pumped. Of those 4,000, 12 pictures were deer. The rest was a horse that got under the rope and stood in the little arena and just tore it up.
Chow time.
Yeah.
So then I thought, okay, I got to get smarter now. Okay, so I had one strand of rope. Let's do a cargo net style on one end of the tree. Let's do more ropes going around it. Great. Awesome.
Check on the dog.
It kind of worked for a day or two, and then the horse stretched the rope enough where it was able to weasel under it. So then I'm like, I don't get this. I just don't. So we go and hunt there opening weekend. The horse follows us down, and I actually have it on our YouTube channel where I have the green light on, I have my camera on. We're walking to the stand, and I turn around, and the horse is just standing there watching us. So I'm letting her climb up, and I had like a walnut, or I had something in my pocket,
a walnut, yeah.
And I just throw it up in the air just to scare the horse away. It hits the other horse behind it, and they take off running. I'm like, okay, great. So we climb up in the stands, you know, and it's dark. Great. We start hearing movement again. Is that a deer? No, the horse comes back. We watch the horse, how it goes, completely under the rope. And now it's in the little arena of mineral, or was mineral rather. Mm-hmm. I'm like, this ain't going to fly. So I grab another walnut and I throw it down at it. The horse turns into a ghost and goes through the rope like the cargo style I had. And it literally just went whoosh. And I'm like,
let alone it was
how did it do that?
It was still dark out too. I'm like, did they just rip all those ropes down? Yeah,
that's what I was thinking too. I'm like, did they literally just rip all those ropes down?
Like, I mean, you would think a horse is pretty big. Like, I'm sure there's powerful, whatever. But I mean, it was like literally a zigzag, like multiple zigzags. I'm like, how did that horse just fly through that? Like, it was like a unicorn, like legit. Like, it just like perfectly jumped up through it like a rabbit and like didn't rip, tear none of the ropes. So how it went through there, I don't know.
So just getting out of Dodge.
After that, I just said, that's it. I'm done. I'm done with the ropes. I took the ropes down. Yeah. I'm like, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of getting all the pictures of the horse trying to get in there and then trying to get out. I'm like, I'm just done. I'm done with it.
Yeah, that would irritate me. Like my brother, his wife now, her grandpa has this farm out in Arkansas. So he was like, hey man, come down and come hunt with me. I'm like, cool. So we get out, set this ground blind up, and like at the time, I didn't know there was cows there. They were like down into the creek area or somewhere. They were gone. I didn't see cows. So that morning we get into the blind and we're sitting there and like I'm hearing like, I'm like, oh man, it's gonna be good. Like some big is walking up. So sun comes up and I look out. We let the windows of the blind down and we're surrounded by Black Angus cows, just around. Just chilling, looking in the blind, like, what y'all doing? You know, like I was like, hey, bro, we done. Like, the hunt's over with. We just get out and we put up a game cam and put some corn out and stuff like that. Next morning, we come out, check the game cam. It's like 300 pictures. Oh, this is good. All cows up in the camera with their nose and cow butt, and they're eating the corn. I'm like, dude, you're never gonna be able to kill anything out here like with these cows. But it's just. It irritated me. So I know how you guys feel about having the horse come in.
His mom sometimes sends us pictures, and the deer are literally standing right next to the horses.
They don't bother them.
They know, no, they don't even phase. They have no care in the world.
So are these like wild horses or just horses that you
No,
guys?
they're-
No, just regular
Yeah,
horses.
regular
Yeah.
horses. Like,
I was like, wow, I didn't know Missouri had wild horses. Are there still wild horses around the country?
Oh yeah. One place that we used to go horseback riding at, they have wild horses all along the prairies down there, and it's really cool to see actually.
I wonder, like, do the wild horses look at like people, like when people are riding horses, like, look at those guys, like they're tamed. They're not
probably
wild and
do.
free like
They
us,
probably do. They're just like, oh, what a bunch of wusses.
right? Hey, so like, how do you guys prepare for the season? Like, as far as like getting your gear ready, and do you guys plant like food plots or anything like that, or just go strict like feeders and mineral?
So I do mostly just feeders and mineral. I've tried the whole food plot thing at one time, but it kind of came up a little, well, it came up faster than I expected, and then it got ate pretty quick. And I was like, oh, well, that was that. Okay. The other thing is, like, so the one property we hunt at where our stands are, we are basically on a whole line of acorns of white oaks.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, well, here's a food source. We have the pond up the hill. So, you know, and their bedding area is right behind us. It's just more or less trying to get them now to come in and whatnot.
Yeah. But on top of too, like, we don't plan on staying in this house forever. Like, probably within the next year or so, we want to buy our own property, our own house. And then I think that's probably when we'll decide kind of food plot versus mineral and all that fun stuff. Just because, I mean, I know I don't plan on staying in this house forever. I mean, if you want to, I'm going to be out on my own. Then I'll take half the animals. And
God, dog.
I'll leave you the rooster.
Yeah, I'm like, that's a dream of mine, of just having a big property where I can do like, here's my food plot. I'm gonna have mineral over here by our water source, and just kind of have it all like mapped out.
Right.
I know.
Because,
I tell him, I say, we just need to get some friends and hook up with them and that have some property to let us hunt at this point.
Yeah, or do like a deer lease.
Yeah, it's.
I'm like, it's a struggle.
But so basically, you're asking what we do to prep for it. We'll wash our camo, get all that stuff kind of done. I throw all my stuff in a bag, and then I'll spray it like with what is it, the Heated Hunts scent off stuff, and I'll douse the whole bag with it and then zip it up and keep it zipped shut. We'll do that with our camo. I usually get the stands, if we are moving stands, I will get them up by usually July, August, somewhere right around there.
I'm just there for moral support.
Yeah, it was mostly her dad and I that was like
that's their job.
moving the stands. Like, we did 3 weekends in a row. It was hot.
Yeah.
It was like 95 degrees, and we're out there, you know, and it's ticks all over. And
I'm like, let me go lay in the pool. You guys can do that. I'm good.
Yeah. And
the ticks, I mean, that's the thing that, like,
oh my gosh, they love me.
That's the thing that like delays me from even getting out early. Is like, because I went out this year, put up tree stands, came back home, and just covered. I mean, I was finding ticks everywhere. I'm like, I didn't even see no ticks out here. Like, how they get up my back? Like,
I swear. So the house we used to live on, where we lived down the road from the chicken farm, we literally went through, like, we had like probably 10 acres. So we went one day, me and my dad, all our family, went literally all through this property, right? I literally came home, literally from my thighs down, nothing but seed ticks. 100%. We were literally hiking and everything. I got in the bathtub, and my dad just took his knife to my legs to scrape all the seed ticks, all from my thighs to my ankles.
You guys had that last season too, when we were setting up stands.
Yeah.
They're
like I don't know if it's, maybe I'm just sweet-blooded. Who knows? I don't know. But they literally are so drawn to my skin. It's ridiculous. I'm like, nope, I'm good.
And there's like nothing you can spray on you to keep them away.
No.
Not at all. Oh, I had another question for you guys. I totally forgot. Oh, so what are you guys doing this season that you guys didn't do last season to like help you be more successful?
Mm,
Well, we haven't been successful yet, so
yeah.
It's still early. It's early.
I will say I've seen a lot more deer,
yeah.
and I've passed on more deer.
Yeah,
Then
he's kicking himself a little bit there.
I'm kind of teeter-tottering. That's going to be our next YouTube video that's coming out. Was this buck that stepped out that I'd seen? I'm like, should I have done it? Should I not?
I wasn't with them that day.
Yeah, naturally, she wasn't with me.
Mm-mm. I had a migraine that day, and that's the only time we've seen the buck.
And it was and ever since then, I haven't even had him on camera, and I'm just like,
see, I get to the point where, not that I get discouraged, but I'm like, all right, I'm tired of not seeing stuff. Is it worth I'm not saying my mental state, like, is it worth me getting up at freaking 5 a.m. every day, 7 days a week? Like, I have to get up so early anyway to go take care of the freaking chickens outside. I'm like, sometimes I just need a mental sanity break. I'm like, all right, I'm going to get burnt out. I need a break. I'm like, you go out if you want. And I'm like, if you continue to see deer, I'm fine. Get me going. But when we go several weekends without seeing anything, I'm like, all right, I need a break or I'm going to be done.
Yeah. Hey, it will wear on your mental. Like right now, I'm in a 3-week rut where I'm just, it's a lull. It's bad. Like, so, okay. So 3 weeks ago, I'm out this public land out by the Missouri River, and I got doe all around me. I'm like a buck's got to come in at some point in time. I'm hunting antlers this year, and I see a nice buck that's probably, I'm gonna say he's 8. I couldn't really tell how far he was, but he's making his way towards me. So I'm like, oh, it's game. I'm on. And as I'm watching this buck, I hear some crunching coming from the right of me, and I look, and here comes a guy. He has a recurve bow in his hand. He's smoking a cigarette, and he's just walking on through. And I'm like, bruh, for real? And he walked right past, walks right underneath my tree, goes and checks the game camera, sitting there smoking. I'm like, one, you're not gonna kill anything smoking that cigarette, and you just scared off all the doe, and that buck is long gone. So I just crawl down. I say, like, hey, dude, and he don't even hear me, and I just keep walking, go back to my car. That's the crappy weekend.
Oh,
2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. All right. Out west. This is the town called Murdo. I kind of found it on the map. It's like, you know what, this is gonna be mule deer here. Because my goal this year is to kill a mule deer. So I'm glassing. I see some doe. I'm money. It's game. So I don't care if it's a doe or a buck. I just want to kill a deer on public land. So as I'm making my stock on this mule deer doe, I'm going down this hill. It's like a ridge, and I can't see on the other side, but as I get further down, I can see the other side. So I'm getting to the hill. She's walking around this hill, and I'm trying to cut her off. Boom, put an arrow through her. As I stand up, I look to my left, and there's this big 6x7 sitting under the hill looking at me like, bro, what are you doing? Like, I see you. So I don't know if you guys ever hunted mule deer, but they're pretty dumb. They're dumb deer. So I lay back down. I range them. I thought my rangefinder said 60. I'm like, boom, he's at 60. It's a shot. Get up, full draw, put my pin on him, let it go, and I thought I hit him because he jumped like he got hit. He ran on top of his little hill. He kind of wobbled, disappeared. I couldn't find my arrow. I'm like, oh, it's definitely it's deep in him. Not a blood trail, nothing. Couldn't find the arrow. So I go down to this drainage, and all these doe run out, and here he goes. He's just running down the way, heartbroken. Saturday afternoon, I'm sitting in the tree stand, more doe. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna take a doe. It's whatever. Nice mature doe comes in, draw the arrow back, and I don't know why. I thought she saw me, so I rushed my shot, put it a little too far back, gut shot. damn, like now I gotta wait a couple hours to get her. Well, I lowered my bow down. After I'm getting ready to crawl down the tree stand, I hear do 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 do. I look to my right, and there's this big 8 that it's been on the game cam the last couple weeks. So I'm stuck. My bow's on the ground. He's less than 20 yards away from me. I have no way I'm gonna be able to get my bow back up. But he's steady eating some acorns and just chilling. So slowly bring my bow back up, reach around, grab an arrow, knock it, boom, pin. And as soon as I get ready to let the arrow fly, I make eye contact with him. And I just freeze up and I just let it go. And it just sounds like a baseball bat. Crack right on the shoulder blade. He takes off.
Yeah.
I'm freaking out. Oh, yeah, I got him. He's done. Get out the tree after about 15, 20 minutes. No blood, no arrow. So start walking a little further. I found some blood, little blood, little blood, little blood. He crossed the creek, nothing. So I was like, so the buck that I've been hunting for the last 2 years finally comes out at daylight, and I just botched the shot up. And it's just like, why am I doing this to myself? It's like, it's mentally draining.
Yeah, it is.
It's mentally draining.
So I am one that deals with not super real bad, but like anxiety and depression. So it's like archery has definitely helped me along with like, that struggle, because it's just mentally, it's a clarity for me. It's like a huge good therapy. So like for me, that's the true reason, one of the reasons that I do so much with archery, hunting, whatever, just because it's just calming, it's relaxing, it's just gets me out of that like kind of mental funk. And he also deals with like depression as well, so I know like for him, like archery is a huge therapy for him as well. So it's just,
oh yeah, that's right up my alley. Like that's how I actually got into archery, because like, so after I got done playing football, like when you play football your whole life, it becomes like who you are basically.
Yeah.
And graduate from college, and it's like it's nothing. Like no NFL, you're not playing semi-pro, no Canadian league. Because football is over, it's done. So like, what do I do now? And then I moved to South Dakota, and it's like now I'm away from my family. I don't have football. Like, what do I do? And I fell into this like deep, dark depression, like drinking every night, and just it's just bad. Like you get in like a really bad, a dark
COVID
spot.
Probably like COVID didn't help the situation with anybody. Like,
oh no, not at all.
Like I think that's what probably on top of like my job was mentally draining as well before I switched jobs this past year. But it was just like I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah,
I can't.
It weighs on you.
I have to make this mental change for myself. Like, if not, I'm gonna be like mentally exhausted and mentally drained like for the rest of my life. I'm like, I can't do this.
Exactly. And I wandered into a bow shop one day that I've been passing by forever. Went in, met the owners, and just kind of talked, and they let me shoot a couple bows. And it just like, after like the 4th or 5th shot, I'm like, this is really relaxing.
Yeah.
I don't know why. And I ended up buying a bow, and it went from there. Yeah. And I tell people all the time, like, hey, if you trying to find yourself, dig yourself out of a funk, go to an archery shop. Yep, go to an archery shop.
Like 100%. Like I started with a recurve bow. Like that's what I started shooting. Like my dad had all these recurve bows, and then I went to, what was it, a PSE?
Yeah, PSE.
PSE, and then he got me one like a couple years later for like just like one off Amazon that I shot for a while. And then last year I was like, man, I really want to get myself a name brand bow. Like my dad always had Hoyt, he had PSE, he had Browning, he had Hoyt.
I had Hoyt. Your dad's never had a Hoyt until
whatever. Who cares? Whatever. So I was like, ooh, I'm gonna go out and buy myself a Hoyt. So that's what I did last year. This little lucky spoiled brat also got a Hoyt for our anniversary. Because I ended up getting him, and actually the exact same bow, but just of course higher poundage. And so we actually have the exact same bow, just different poundage.
And different colored accents.
different color accents.
Are y'all big on like name brand, like not name brand, big on like different like bow companies, or like it doesn't matter as long as it shoots?
I think with me, I just wanted something that I could say like I bought this.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like I feel like I'm not saying most females like just get stuff handed to them, but I'm like, it's just something that I'm proud of because let me tell you, I bought that with my money.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
I worked hard for this bow, like, and I want to show it off. That type of feeling.
I
Like-
feel you.
Like I've always had that hand-me-down of, oh, here's my brother's old bow, or here's this old bow, or I just wanted something, that I could call mine. Like I picked out, I wanted it. It's mine now. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I feel you.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, I've always kind of had my eye on Hoyts and stuff like that. Like I have a Browning, like an old Browning compound bow, like back when they made bows actually.
See, I didn't know Browning made bows until last week. I did a show with a guy and he was telling me about Browning. His first bow was a Browning. I'm like, I didn't even know Browning made bows.
Yeah. And what's crazy about my old Browning bow is the weight on it. Now, mind you, this bow is a 90s model bow that goes from 60 pounds to 80 pounds. You're looking at 80 pounds on the newer bows that people are shooting. And, that's where I'm just like, wow, it's kind of crazy that,
Yeah, there's
how
a huge
old
weight difference.
Yeah. And so then, I got into, having that Browning bow was nice, but it was like 44 inches axle. And I'm like, man, it's kind of like obnoxiously big. So then, I got into
like
a
caveman style.
Right. So then I got into a Hoyt VTEC, which I want to say that was like 35 inches axle, something like that. And I liked that one for a little while. And then I bought, so then I was always I really liked the parallel limbs on the Hoyt Spiders.
Yeah.
So I found a Hoyt Spider, Spider 30. So I got that one. And then that was like my all-time favorite. I was shooting that all the time. And, had a new string put on it, all this stuff, and spot hog sights, all that stuff. Well, then, we go to the bow shop.
Yep.
And
I had to order mine, of course.
She had to order hers
Mine
just for the
came in, I think,
poundage.
maybe 2 or 3 months, something like that.
And so they had the Hoyt Torex sitting there, and that's the one she was kind of looking at, and I picked it up, and I'm just like, wow,
yeah, it was
that is
light.
insanely light, and
Right.
I'm like that. I'm like, I like how light it felt, and I was kind of holding it in my hand. I'm like, it was perfectly balanced, and I was like, I really like that. And so then it was something that was kind of in the back of my head. I'm like, I don't want a new bow, but I kind of really do want a new bow. But I really like this bow because I have all this stuff on it. But then I really like that one because, I mean, you got to think about it. You get all this stuff on your bow, and weight is one of the biggest things that I feel like people don't really understand. Like, you get all this stuff. Like, I have a Tacticam on mine, for God's sakes, which I end up having to get used to the weight of that, plus with its stabilizer, and the way I have it all set up. So then it's like you have to shoot, you have to get used to it.
Right.
And I don't run like the back bar or anything like that, sidebars. I run stabilizer up front. I have the Tacticam above it, and I'm perfectly good with that. I practice so much that I don't really need a whole lot of other accessories on it. And it was just like, we got those, and then we started shooting with those, and we went to what was it, the R100 in Moberly, and did a 3D shoot there.
How is the R100?
My life.
What's that?
Shoot.
I said, how is the R100?
I had loved it.
Yeah, it was really awesome.
So fun, but I don't recommend going the day after a float trip.
That makes sense. Like hungover and hot and sunburnt.
Sunburnt, yeah. Let alone it was a 2-hour drive for us too.
Oh man.
So like, I've always wanted to do TAC events.
Oh, hey. That's
I know.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to do them, but then it sucks that they don't have any in Missouri or really close. Like they had one in Oklahoma, but like when I GPSed it, I was like, that's 9 hours. I'm like,
at this point, the only way we would ever be able to do that, I'm like, buy a camper, to haul behind the camper for the animals, and let's just load up everything and let's go. I'm game. 12 cats, 3 dogs. Don't think the rabbit should be alive much longer, probably. She's old. It's okay. The chickens will be fine. They can stay outside. I'll fill up their food and water.
But yeah, like I looked into the tack then, and I think they have one in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
But then that was even like an 8-hour drive, and I was just like, dude,
8-hour drive.
I'm like,
that's a ways.
Like we thought about doing the R100 this year, but when gas prices went like stupid high, I was just like, $5 a gallon of gas. I'm like, so we'd be using roughly, $60, $80 in fuel.
Even like with my car, I drive a Chevy Cruze. So, I mean, yeah, I get good gas mileage, but like that's still
a lot.
Yeah, it still is.
But yeah, the R100s are pretty cool. I think the tax would probably be a little bit better just with, with those. I feel like the shots would be more trickier with tack events than, R100s.
Dude, let me tell you. So I've done tack the last 2 years in a row. 2? Yeah, 2 years in a row. And do some of the shots they have, depending on what course you do, man, they are tricky. Like we did the I think it's the Lupo course.
Yeah.
And they had a antelope that was at 65 yards, but it was between 2 trees, and the vitals is about that much. That's it. That's all you got. And you should have seen both trees had arrows just lined up all through them. Like the event is crazy, and the courses are fun. Are they challenging? Yes, but the mountain festing that they have where all the vendors and archers hang out, that's like to me the best part of tech, because you get the network. Everybody's like, how'd you shoot? I mean, everybody's friendly. I mean, it's just a really cool event, and I recommend if you guys can get to one, you go to one, and you'll want to make we got to do this every year. Like,
definitely.
It's a real fun event.
Oh yeah, definitely. So that's where I kind of got the idea. Like I was watching a lot of the YouTube videos of tack events, and I was like, okay, I got all these targets. I got 5 acres. What can I do with it? So I started cutting a little paths. So I'd made like a shot where it was a 10-degree downhill slope, 55 yards, but then I'd cut between 2 cedar trees. So you only had this much of a section to get it.
Yeah.
And I was able to nail it. I'm like, oh, wow, that's so cool. And so I just basically transformed our whole field into an archery range. Yeah.
Oh, heck yeah. That's what's up.
And so that's what's funny is like somebody will comment or something on like our posts like, oh, I love how the deer just like walk right by the archery targets.
I'm
and
like,
I said, what would be better is if I can get a double lung right through it and right into the bullseye of the target. That'd be
money. Oh yeah, hey, that's fun. Like I tell people all the time, like I'm down for any 3D shoot. Like I go to local shoots, I go to shoots all over the country. Like I just love being around people who love archery and just sitting around talking. That's to me, that's the best part. I love shooting too, but I love just conversating.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, for sure. Hey guys, it's been a great show. I've definitely appreciate you guys taking time out of your day to come and chat with me. But before we get out of here, let the people know where they can find you on all the social media platforms.
All right, so we're at Brutcher_outdoors on Instagram and Brutcher_outdoors on YouTube, and then her Instagram is
just Miss Brutcher_outdoors. So just MRS in front of it.
Nice.
I don't do the whole YouTube. Like,
I run that.
Yeah, he runs that. Sorry.
Right. Hey.
I'll be like, yep, we'll follow you, James. Go follow them.
Hey, this social media stuff is way more complicated than it should be.
Yeah, definitely.
For
We have a friend who's trying to get me interested in TikTok, and I'm like, no. Man,
nope, I won't do TikTok.
I'm like, I have enough as is. I'm good.
Yeah, I wish.
Either way, if you go to his profile, I'm tagged in it everywhere, so y'all can find me on the co-ed one. Like I said.
See, I wish there was a way where you could like link all your social media to like one thing, and then you like post, and then it just goes everywhere. Just you post one time, and boom, it's there. Like, that'd be perfect. But
maybe like I think there is something. I'd have to think about it though. I'll have to get back to you on that one. There is something
well,
out there.
I know they got Hootsuite where you can
Yeah,
like schedule your, but it's only for like Instagram,
yeah, that's
Twitter,
true.
Facebook. I think
Where
that's
it
it.
posts on everything.
Yep. Other than that, I don't know. Now, maybe the idea to make some money, start that up.
Amen to that one.
Oh, but hey, this has been another exciting episode of the Dreaded Rusher podcast, and we are out.